is this. So beside your m equals, go ahead and write y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? I know this looks confusing, but it gets pretty simple, okay? Eventually. Yeah, sorry. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it says to find the slope of a line passing through the 2 points. And this is the first coordinate pair, and then this is the second coordinate pair. The coordinate pairs are also the lattice points. Okay? So you're going to end up subtracting this y value minus that y value, and then dividing it by this x value minus this x value. It's going to make more sense when we have numbers plugged in, okay?
Is this example 7?
No, this is just the top of the backside where it says m equals. We're going to get to example 7 in just a second.
Did we do example 5 yesterday?
Did we what?
Do example 5 yesterday?
No, we skipped 5 and 6. Sean, what's up? Okay. So make sure you have this written down correctly, because if you don't, it'll screw you up real badly, okay? Okay, we ready for example 7? I'm going to write that the formula for myself up here, just so I have it in front of me. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so the first thing, before we even try and start to solve this, I'm going to label these values. And at least on these first couple of examples, you won't have to do it on your homework. That's not a grade, but just so you know what value is what. So go ahead and write this in on your notes. So this is x1 and y1, and that's x2 and y2. And we have these numbers, the 1s and the 2s by it, to represent that they're from the first pair, and these are from the second pair. Okay? When you start writing out the equation, whenever we try and find slope, it's always m equals. And then before you write any numbers down, you're going to write these lines. Okay? Those are minus signs on the top and bottom of this division bar, just like we've got this up here, okay? And then from there, I'm going to plug those numbers into the variables. So the top bar, I'm going to do the top first. It says y2, which is 3. 3 represents y2, minus y1, which is negative 3. But because we have a minus sign right here, and then a negative sign right here, make sure you're using these parentheses so it doesn't blend into one long minus sign, okay? And on the bottom, it says x2 minus x1. So x2 we know is 0 because we have it labeled, minus x1, which is negative 2. So I'm going to do that same thing with the parentheses. Now, does anyone remember what to do when you see a minus sign right beside a negative sign?
Mr. Carlos just called it dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty.
Dirty math?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
You circle. Oh no. Well, you circle them and then like a negative equals a positive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you write that positive? Like above it or in it or what? Where do you write it?
What is it? Morgan, do you remember?
What?
Carlos's dirty math?
Dirty man.
That was what twin said? Nope.
No?
No?
Well, I'm gonna... Hmm.
It was a funny class.
What do you want to make it look like? A positive. I'm going to put the plus sign above that to show that two minus signs beside each other equals a positive. Okay? So then this becomes an addition problem. So 3 plus 3 equals what?
6.
Good. And then we're going to do the same thing down here because there's two minus signs next to each other again. So now we're doing 0 plus 2, which is what? 2. Now, what's wrong with this answer?
It's not simplified.
Good. So 2 goes into both of these, right? What's 6 divided by 2?
3.
And 2 divided by 2?
1.
1. Nice. So your slope is 3 over 1. I promise it's going to get easier, okay?
A lot of work, not a lot of math. It's a lot of work.
It's, once you get that formula in your head, it's not a lot of work anymore. It's just writing it out. You just have to remember what goes where. Okay. Are we ready for the next one? All right. Number 8. So I'm going to write that formula up here again. And you don't have to do this because you have it at the top of your sheet. But I don't have it in front of me. x2 minus x1. Okay. Go ahead and put your m equals and that division sign with the minus signs on the top and bottom. And who wants to tell me what number to plug in first? Kaylin? 9, that's right. Because that is the y2 value. And go ahead and label those again. Sorry I didn't do that to begin with. x2, y2. Okay. So Kaylin said 9 goes here because it's the y2 value. Minus y1. So what's next?
7.
And then who can tell me what goes on the bottom? Andy?
The 1 goes, 5.
5, yep. 5. And then 1. Perfect. And we don't have any of those messy negatives this time, right? Thankfully. What's 9 minus 7? 2. Thank you. And 5 minus 1? 4. And that can be reduced, right? By 2. Divide top and bottom by 2. Equals 1 over 2. 1/2. That's our slope. Is it starting to make more sense? Okay, a little bit. Good. Well, we have 4 more examples to do, so by the end of it, you should get it. Does anyone have a question? Everything's making sense right now?
Cold.
You're cold.
Oh my god, Rudy.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and label x1, y1, x2, y2. Go ahead and write your m equals. Sean, can you, and then the division sign and the minus signs on top. See, I forget that sometimes too. Okay, Sean, can you tell me what number goes in first? Right there? Nope. -3. Nice, Tamara. Thank you. Because we're doing y2 minus y1, so we plug that -3 in for y2, and then What's next? Refer to -5. That's right. So always look at that formula at the top of your sheet. Okay? John said -5 because that's what y1 is. And I'm going to put those parentheses in because there's a negative sign. And then Tamara, can you tell me what goes on the bottom?
-2? No, -4.
-4.
'Cause
Then it's -2. Good. So I'm going to circle these minuses again, and I'm going to make them pluses. Right? So it becomes an addition problem. -3 plus 5, what's that? Anybody? Thank you. -3 plus 5.
-3 plus 5?
Mm-hmm.
-8.
It's positive, yeah. -3 plus 5. Anybody?
Oh, 2.
2. Thank you, Kaylin. You gotta speak up. Okay, and -4 plus 2?
Negative
Plus
2.
-2.
two. Negative, wait. Why is it
-4 plus 2 is -2.
positive?
Because it's a negative sign in front of the 4.
So it's a 3.
Plus 2?
But
If you punch it into your calculator, it'll say 2.
oh, never mind.
Right?
I get it now.
You get it?
I get it now.
Okay. Okay, now the problem with this looking like this, with the negative sign on the bottom, we can't have that. Because when we're drawing a line, and we're trying to find the slope, you're not, because it's rise over run, right? So this is going to be left or right. But it's only ever right. Because we're reading from left to right. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense.
Just another way to look at it. Are you guys ever allowed to have a negative on the bottom?
No.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm just going to move it to the top. Oh, right? That's all we need to do. Thank you. But this is not simplified. So I'm going to divide the top and bottom by itself. And it's going to be -1. Now you can write -1 over 1, or you can write -1, but I would leave it as a fraction so that you know which direction you're going each time. Okay? So if you ever have a negative in your slope, make sure it's on top.
You know you can just simplify that down to.
You can. Morgan just said you can simplify it down to 1, like -1 like that, right?
That's what I'm saying.
You can, but then when you're trying to see the slope, do you know what direction to go by just having one number? You might, because you remember that it's the same as this, but this is a nice visual to have to know that you're going down 1 and right 1 with this. Depending on who it is, depending on your understanding of it, you might not know what direction to go. So this is a nice, helpful visual. Okay, Andy, get your head up, please. All right, we good for example 10?
Oh, so you heard simplifying.
Hold on. Hold on.
That's right.
Okay, now.
I'm ready.
You can get one. Okay. I'm going to label my variables x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'm going to write m equals my fraction bar and my minus signs, okay? Sean, you want to try again? What that first number is?
3.
Yes, perfect. And what's the next one? What goes right there? Nice. And I'm going to write that in parentheses because it's a negative beside a minus. Jalen, can you tell me what goes on the bottom? Right here? You don't have any idea? It's the x2 value. The x2 value, I have it written for you.
Oh, two.
-2. And then, because we're doing x2 minus x1, what goes here then, Jalen? -2. So always look at that equation that you have written at the top. It'll really help you. Okay, then I'm going to circle the minus signs, make it a plus, because it's an addition problem. What's 3 plus 3? 6. You guys sound so happy. What's -2 plus 2?
Zero.
0. Good. Okay, this is where it gets, just the numbers make it a little complicated. Okay, yesterday, do you remember what a vertical line was called? Yesterday's notes?
Was
Can you
it
flip to the
undefined?
undefined? That's right.
Yeah, you cannot divide by 0.
You can't divide by 0. Good job, Jonathan. If you had been in my first hour and told me that, I wouldn't have messed them up. So thank you for helping us for 6th hour. So because you can't divide by 0, it's undefined. Okay? Our next example is going to show us something else, though. So when a line is undefined, it's going straight up and down. Remember, that's when you fall off the cliff and you're not recognizable. Okay? You're going. Yeah.
This class is wrong turn.
Yesterday we talked about Mufasa falling off that cliff. If you forgot, Kaylin.
How could
Okay, example 11. Only 2 left, okay? Then we're going to get some time to work on the worksheet. So I'm going to label x1, nope, that's not here. x1, y1, x2, y2. And then I'm going to write my m equals minus minus. Eliza, what goes right here? Nice. -3, because that's the y2 value. And Morgan, what goes right here?
Huh? Oh, -3.
Nice. -3 in parentheses. Very good. And Sean, can you fill in the bottom one for me? What's right here? Mm-hmm. 0, because it's the x2 value. And then what goes over here? -2. Thanks, Tamara. And I'm going to put that in parentheses. And then again, I'm going to circle these minus signs. Make it addition. What's -3 plus 3? 0. You guys are doing great with these negatives today. And what's 0 plus 2? 2. Nice. Now, I'm going to make it prettier too. In the last problem, we saw 6 over 0, but this time it's 0 over 2. Now, you can't divide a number by 0, but you can divide 0 by a number, right? What's 0 divided by 2?
0. And that's the answer.
And that's the answer. And your slope is going to look like that. It's going to be a horizontal line. You remember that on the front of your note sheet from yesterday? So that's what that looks like. And 0 is your answer.
One more.
Whenever you see a 0 ever in a fraction when you're dealing with slopes, just try your best to remember that it's either going to be undefined or 0, just 0 by itself. I don't know. I feel like that would mess me up.
We got one more problem.
One more, then we can work on it. John's a little impatient, isn't he? Okay. Last one. I'm going to label. Thanks for listening so well today. Much better than yesterday.
I need help with this. Can I do this one?
Yeah, definitely. I was going to call on you to do it. So what goes right there?
We're going to need
-4. Okay.
Mm-mm.
11.
Nope, so it's y2 minus y1, so it's 56. Let me see.
One and then the two next.
So you've got your y2 minus y1. Okay, so 56. It is a little confusing that the second term comes before the first term. I don't know why. Those are the math people. What? John, can you tell me what goes right there?
-4.
Yes, nice. Okay, who wants to fill in the bottom for me? Or do you want to keep going? Okay, I'm going to let him do it, okay. He wants to get that practice. Okay, what goes on the bottom?
23.
Nice job.
11.
Okay, then I'm going to circle these, make it a plus. What's 56 plus 4?
56 plus 4.
60. Nice. And what's 23 minus 11?
Wait, 56. Oh, 56 plus 4.
Wow.
12. Thank you. All right, now we can't leave it like that, right? How am I going to reduce it? What? What'd you say? I just couldn't hear you. What'd you say? Divide the top into the bottom? Or the bottom into the top? 60, yep, exactly. What is 60 divided by 12?
5.
Kaylin, is that what you were saying?
What?
Is that what you were saying?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. So if 60 divided by 12 is 5, then I'm just going to draw that 1 underneath to remember that the run is 1. Okay? And then that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Make sense? You sound like you understand better than we did at the beginning, right? Okay. Kinda.
I still don't get it. Why?